Change has come. It's at the door. Everything that was true isn't true anymore. In our hands is a broken crown, and the wars that we lose mean freedom now. Every ending is a chance, a chance, a chance. Every ending is a chance, a chance, a chance. Every ending is a chance to begin again. Every ending is a chance to begin again. Let's dance into battle, start a revolution, turn the heartbreak into evolution. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, from the ashes. Every ending is a chance, a chance, a chance. Every ending is a chance, a chance, a chance. Every ending is a chance to begin again. Every ending is a chance to begin again. Keep marching on. 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 Every ending is a chance, a chance, a chance. Every ending is a chance, a chance, a chance. Every ending is a chance to begin again. Every ending is a chance to begin again. Every ending is a chance. Every ending is a chance to begin again.
The plan for living life, playing the game of life. Rules to the game of life. You will receive a body. You will learn lessons. There are no mistakes, only lessons. A lesson will be repeated until it is learned. Learning lessons does not end. There is no better than here. Others are merely mirrors of you. What you make of your life is up to you. Life is exactly what you think it is. Your answers lie inside you. You will forget all of this. You can remember it whenever you want. Mastering ourselves, being our best selves. My power, my control. Mind, body, soul, which is thoughts, wills, the things you say, and emotions. Principles: learn, grow, teach, help. Foundation: love, health, wealth, happiness. Rules: respectful, safe, responsible. Being a champion, one day at a time. Having accountability, accept responsibility for actions and performance. Culture, living our values, mastering ourselves, body, mind, soul. Excellence, being our best selves by efficiency and productivity. Leveling up in life, showing up for yourself, focus on yourself, core values, decisions, goals, and behavior. Live by, no excuses, take ownership, empower yourself to do better and be more for you. Many are here to help us be the best version of ourselves through learning and development. 2, I'm willing to do the work and you are willing to do the work. The first step to empowering you is creating a structure that helps you eliminate excuses through clarity of responsibility and process. Being a champion to create winning is by having a desire to be the best version of yourself and empowering you to do so daily. Having a better world that is a champion world is that it takes all of us. Everything is energy, vibration, and frequency, which is inside of us all and all around us. What is your energy? Low vibration or high vibration? Low vibration. Empathy, victim, helplessness, blame, negative self-talk, worry, hatred, anger, fear. High vibration. Hopefulness, courage, acceptance, happiness, self-love, gratitude, positive self-talk, trust, knowledge, abundance, forgiveness, unconditional love. Mastering ourselves. Lust, intense desire or craving, greed, excessive selfish desire. Gluttony, excessive consumption. Pride, excessive self-importance. Sloth, laziness, empathy. Envy, desiring what someone else has. Wrath, extreme anger. The unseen laws, spiritual laws you must respect. Core unseen laws. Law of reciprocity, which what you send out, energy, thoughts, actions, returns amplified. Law of authority. Spirits only respect those who know who they are. If you're confused, they dominate. Law of resonance. You attract what matches your vibration. Purity equals clear outcomes. Law of timing. Some doors open only in divine timing. Forcing it equals punishment or delay. Law of spiritual debt. Every lie, scam, or shortcut leaves a karmic invoice until it's paid by pain or repentance. It blocks flow. Law of access. Sharing sacred things with unworthy people gives dark forces access to you. Guard your spiritual intimacy. Law of sacred exchange. Don't ask for something from spirit world without giving something. Prayers, food, fire, service, truth. Law of hidden eyes. Even when no one is watching, you are seen. All thoughts and deeds echo in the spirit realms. Everyone will get exactly what they choose. 3D earth. Fear, division, anger, control, hate, AI. 5D earth. Love, unity, peace, freedom, healing, consciousness. This is the great awakening. May you attract someone that understands you're a work in progress, but still adores the absolute masterpiece that you already are. Welcome, I'm Alisha Quinn, and today we are going to be talking about consciousness of light. And really, we are here to raise up the consciousness, raise up our own consciousness, And when we raise up our own consciousness, it has a ripple effect to help others raise up their consciousness as well, because we are just reflections of one another. And so when people see my light within me, it helps them to raise up their consciousness as well. And the same for me, that when I see others who are raising up their consciousness, I also have that effect of raising up my consciousness as well. Truly to come back to remember who I am, remember that I am a part of that source, a channel, a frequency experiencing itself, just like you, just like anyone else. Everyone is just a part of that source experiencing itself. And I'm here to help remember who I am and that I have the power within me to be that person, to become that person that I came here to be and to experience and create a the experiences that I truly came here to experience. So, as we're going to be talking here about consciousness of light, truly waking up to the fact that the darkness is within me and the light is within me. Duality. And that my thoughts and my words and my emotions play a part of my reality and what I get to experience here. But truly waking up to that fact of that darkness that lies in me and the light, and that I have the power to become a light worker, to choose that path, to raise up my frequency and my vibration, and come up to having that consciousness of light, and that everyone has the power to do such a thing. That I can either say that everything is against me and be victimized by life, or that everything is for me and everything works for my highest good to help me to evolve myself. And so when we think about consciousness of light, to me, that is having that renewed mind, having that happiness and that joy and that fulfillment within me, having peace, peace that begins within me, inner peace, that I'm right where I am meant to be. I'm experiencing what I am meant to experience. Unity, having the unity within me of my body, mind, and soul, that I am the one who has the power to change my thoughts, change the things I say, to feel something different, like empowering myself instead of being victimized by life, that I have it within me. And that having unity with others, that everyone else is just that soul, that part of source experiencing their own journey and their own experiences, and that I can learn and grow from them. They don't have to experience what I've experienced, because that may not just be the thing for them to experience for their soul growth and evolution, that they don't even have to believe the things that I believe in, but that I have a free will and God-given right to believe the things that I believe based on my experiences, my wisdom and knowledge that I have gained on this journey. And having that unconditional love for everyone, that sometimes people are stuck in cycles or self-limiting beliefs. And that's okay, because that's just where they're at. And that may just be the thing for them to go through and experience. And good or bad, they serve a purpose, because everyone has it within them to do good things, but also to do bad things. But we learn and grow from one another. We are each other's teachers and helpers. And so sometimes we need someone to irritate us so that we can work on not letting things bother us and be irritated. Sometimes we need people to push us, to give us that strength, or even light that fire under us to do the things that we know we came here to do. But sometimes those people also play a part in helping you in many different ways. And so having that unconditional love for them, that they are free to experience the journey and the life that they want to experience. That, just like me, that I have a choice. I can eat healthy and reap what I sow, or I can eat crap and reap what I sow. And there's all kinds of learning lessons. Having my mind trapped in the world, right? And I know that there are people who are still trapped in the world. But being that light and being that reflection for them, that you can get out of it. You just have to put in the work right here and get out of it. Living your own reality in your own moment. You're being present in your own life and truly feeling life, feeling what you're experiencing and going through, experiencing it. And so we're going to take a look at an article here for consciousness of light, and see what it says and just see what we can gain from it. Light is consciousness. That's what we are reading here today. We love light, sunshine, beautiful weather, the rising of the light, whether in the morning or in spring, fills us with gratitude and joy. We need light to read in the dark and to lift our spirits in difficult times. Light is essential to life. Without the miracle that the plant world performs, creating bodily form out of air and light, we could not exist. The history of the visual arts sings a song to light. Rembrandt, the Impressionist, William Turner, Alfred Ellison, and James Turrell, quantum physics, which so strongly influences our current conceptions of matter, began 100 years ago with the aim of identifying the building blocks of matter by focusing research on light. During the same time, Rudolf Steiner wrote in his autobiography, I said to myself, light is not perceived by the senses at all. Color are perceived through light, which manifests itself all around in the perception of color, but is not itself perceived with the senses. White light is not light, but is already a color. Thus, light became an actual being for me in the sensory world, but one that is itself suprasensory. In other words, when we experience light, we don't perceive it with our senses. Light is a being that is present in the sensory world, but is itself suprasensory. Light is therefore one of the most significant and mysterious experiences we are privileged to have. Starting points. How are we to fathom this great riddle? In the preface to his theory of colors, Goethe says, when speaking of colors, we should not first and foremost mention light. He then answers his own question. So much has been said in the past about light, and in such varied forms, that it would seem ill-advised to reiterate these statements or duplicate what has often been done before. In reality, any attempt to express the inner nature of a thing is fruitless. What we perceive are effects, and a complete record of these effects ought to encompass this inner nature. Goethe did not comment directly on what light itself is. Instead, he took a phenomenological approach based on color in order to arrive at a characterization of light that exhibits itself across the whole of color phenomena. Our attempt follows this approach, but we don't use colors as our guiding principle. Instead, we focus on the phenomenon of coming into appearance. This ties in with the starting points of a spiritual approach to the world, which we elaborated in our earlier essay in the Goetheanum Weekly. 1. Earthly reality is Maya, but one that is worth giving our attention to as a readable book. This includes two foundational ideas. Sensory appearances are not underpinned by atomistic conceptions, and the inner life of humanity expresses the inner life of nature. 2. Thus, earthly reality takes place within human beings. Our I is the place where the world unfolds, where consciousness and self-knowledge can arise. Out there appears to us as a material world, the content of which can reveal itself within us as a coexistence of spiritual beings. 3. To complete the reversal of perspective, the physical world as a sensory phenomenon is the outermost emanation of a world interspace, or in classical anthroposophical terms, a spiritual world. This world interspace consists exclusively of spiritual beings. 5. Our earthly reality is an image of the spiritual inner world. Everything that appears sensory has its origin, its home in this world interspace. Light in the world interspace. Just as only a fraction of our individual inner world of spiritual and soul come up to the surface, so too with the world's interspace. Only a fraction of the spiritual world interspace is perceivable to the senses, and this fraction is the physical aspect of the world. Perceptible to the senses means that something can be perceived by at least one of our 12 senses. A further part of the world interspace enters earthly reality, but is not perceptible to the senses. It is present and effective here, but not graspable by the senses. This is the etheric aspect of the world. Finally, some things remain soul and spirit in the inner space of the world. i.e., the astral aspect of the world, and are therefore neither perceptible to the senses nor directly present and effective in the sensory realm. Light was also originally as astral being, a translation of Genesis 1:1 by Rudolf Steiner reads, "In the primal beginning, the gods condensed the etheric and the astral, and the etheric was unordered. It was dark, for the light was only in the astral, and above the etheric was the divine spirit, and the astral revealed itself in the etheric as light, and those who could not come to the light came to the astral. The spirits of light made the day, the spirits of darkness the night. Upper and lower beings separated themselves in the etheric. What we are accustomed to calling light, therefore, has its origin in the spiritual astral world and not in a non-spiritual point-like conception of matter or quanta. But how can we gain access to this true essence of being of light in the spiritual world? Light of thought. One approach to this question arises when Steiner equates the inner experience of light with our thoughts. For example, in a note referring to his lectures that Marie Steiner wrote, "Light experienced inwardly is thought representation Vorstellung." Or in a lecture on December 5th, 1920, he says, "The same experience that human beings have through the sensory perception of light in the outer world, they have in relation to the thought element of the head for the imagination, so that one can say the thought element beheld objectively is beheld as light, or rather experienced as light. As thinking human beings, we live in the light." Light of consciousness. Although mostly overlooked because it is so obvious, the first thing we encounter is light. In the form of our waking consciousness is born in by light. Light makes it possible for the awake human being to perceive the world with their senses, and vice versa. The visibility of the world awakens human beings. What is revealed in this process is a spiritual world that uses sensory phenomena to make itself known, a world that we would otherwise sleep through. The awake earthly human being is presented with a sensory image of a world that is imbued with light or spirit or even thought, a world that is to be understood spiritually and is not comprised of matter or objects. Light is a sensorial insight into the spiritual inner space that would otherwise remain dark to us. The experience that we refer to as light in the earthly realm is this linked with the fact of something becoming visible. Goethe wrote at the beginning of his theory of colors, "None will dispute a direct relationship between light and the eye, but it is more difficult to think of the two as being simultaneously one and the same." Rudolf Steiner points out in a notebook entry, the eye is light in its self-perception. Behind our seeing, there is no further essence of light. Light, as it appears to us, is the light in its entire essence. When in the morning the colors and shapes emerge from the night, the world becomes visible, just as when we return home late and flip the light switch, the experience of light means that something else, something that I am not initially, enters into the sensory experience and only then becomes conscious to me. Light thus allows something else to appear to us and makes itself noticeable within us as a brightening of our consciousness. In accordance with its inner astral Origin, we experience light as an illumination of consciousness, as an awakening. This inner experience of light is to be regarded as the primary experience, the everyday experience of seeing and the associated believing to be true, of an objective world of things to be classified as secondary in relation to the phenomenon of light. This secondary experience only came about with the seduction by Lucifer, the opening of the senses through seduction in paradise, and thus is not true and primary. That what is primary and true is the inner consciousness illuminating experience of light. Light is thus not something that illuminates a world of things in themselves, irradiating it like a shower, but rather something that awakens my consciousness to a concrete spiritual world that belongs to me and appears to me in sensory experience. Sensory experiences, for example, in daytime, are an expression of this luminous illumination of consciousness, and not the converse. My light and the light of the world. This illumination of consciousness has two paths, one from within, one from without. Just as there is a spark of life within the seed of autumn that eventually opens up and joins the life coming from without in spring, similarly, we humans possess an inner light. I can remain conscious even in complete darkness. Beyond this inner light, there is the world light of the sun coming from outside, which illuminates the otherwise dark, not conscious world, and to which I can connect with my inner spark of light. In other words, I turn my consciousness, my attention to the world that appears to me. The world light, which is itself invisible, makes itself known in three ways: as the sensory appearance of the world, as shining brilliance, reflection, and as a blinding glare. Each of these associated with a particular quality of consciousness. The appearance of the world allows me and the world to enter into a free and awakened relationship with one another. It is day. When we see a shiny reflection of brilliance, we see the effects of a connection with the light source. With brilliance, that which appears, and I, the observer and awakened one, are brought into a higher state of consciousness. What appears shines out beyond itself. Indeed, it appears transfigured or glorified. The green of a leaf appears white, and a shiny white spot on the green appears as a highlight. I too am then transfigured as the observer, lifted beyond everyday waking consciousness into a suprasensory experience. Green and white are sensory, but the light, its brilliance, is suprasensory. Thirdly, when blinded by a glare, the overpowering superior quality of light becomes all too clear. My consciousness is not yet able to withstand this superior power. Etheric appearance of light. The ability to be present and absent in the here and now belongs to this power of light. By showing itself to us as absent and present, light tells us about its otherworldliness or its presence here and now. The invisible light is present when the candle is burning. It is here. It is absent when the candle is extinguished. The light is beyond in the other world. It is absent on the earth at night and present on the earth during the day. Its absence on the earth diminishes in autumn and winter, and the light shines out again in spring and summer. We call this property of light etheric. It is suprasensory, a being of a non-sensory nature that can still be effective in the sensory world, but is not itself perceivable through our senses. Its realm is not of this world, and yet it is effective, present, and active here, which brings us back to the quote from Rudolf Steiner's autobiography mentioned at the beginning. Soul and spirit manifestation of light. Light is originally an illumination of consciousness. So far, we've considered this illumination in terms of the etheric effectivity of light in the sensory world. In addition to this etheric manifestation of light, there is also a soul and a spiritual manifestation. When Rembrandt paints a reflection of light on a golden helmet, or when we see a candle flame glowing in a painting by Gerhard Richter, these are thoroughly convincing soul experiences of light, but they do not enter sensory reality in an etheric way. They remain within us. Neither the reflection from the painted golden helmet nor the painted gold candle flame illuminates my outstretched hand. However, this is very much the case with the etheric light of a candle flame or the shine of a metal surface. Finally, we can have an experience of spiritual light, for example, in meditation, when our inner world becomes bright while everything in the sensory world around us remains unchanged. In contrast to these two inner encounters with light, the encounter with the etheric light that is active through invisible in the sensory world can be described as external. We refer to these external experiences of light as earthly. Light is a supersensory being that cannot itself be perceived by the senses. It announces its presence in the etheric, soul, and spiritual realm, but is always the same light. So there is only one light that manifests itself in a variety of ways and seeks out different places for its work. In me or in the world, in the sensory or in the soul and spirit. So there isn't really an external light and an inner light, but only one light that approaches us in different ways from different directions. Neither is there any such thing as physical light. Light always remains supraphysical, that is above or beyond the senses. Thus, light became an actual being for me in the sensory world, but one that is itself suprasensory. The sensory and suprasensory aspects of experiencing light. Sight is inextricably bound to the earthly experience of light. Seeing is initially pure sensory perception, light and dark colors, and the experience of form and shape. This includes both the conscious experience of pure perception and the intervention of astral form and shaping forces within this pure perception. Wisdom lives in the light. Without this wisdom in the light, pure visual perception without form or shape appears to us as brightness and color, and at the same time as a riddle when the intervention of form or formative forces is added to pure sensory perception. Our perception is clarified into a visual cognition. It becomes light. Classic experiences of this kind are conveyed by picture puzzles, where first only black and white spots are seen, but soon take on visible meaning through the gradual intervention of or sudden illumination of formative forces. Just as the wisdom-filled light lights up in the encounter with the pure sensory perception, bringing it to reality and cognition, so the invisible light of a candle flame lights up in the encounter with something that we can capture as dark material, soot, by holding a piece of white chalk in the flame. With the emergence of light, earthly reality arises as expressed in the following three statements by Rudolf Steiner. What is within the human being is ideal appearance. What is in the perceptible world is sensory appearance. The cognitive interworking of both in one another is the real reality. Perception is not something finished or complete, but rather one side of total reality. The other side is the concept. The act of cognition is the synthesis of perception and concept, but it is the perception and concept of a thing that together constitute the whole thing. From the depths of the world, the mysterious, rich abundance of matter imposes itself on the human sensory. From the heights of the world, the content-rich, clarifying word of the Spirit streams into the ground of the soul. They meet in the inner being of the human being to form a wisdom-filled reality. With the astral forming or shaping forces that illuminate sensory perception, the spirit or essence of reality emerges from the world. Interspace is simultaneously given as the content of thought. As its light, this brings the essence with which we are relating into sensory appearance. The being becomes the sensory image of itself. It shines forth in the sensory realm. As we developed in our earlier article, we are dealing with revelations of spiritual beings, both in the sensory pure perception, the rich abundance of matter, and the supersensory form or shape clarifying word of the Spirit. The later appears in a spirit-like manner, the former in a veiled manner. Free of conception. It is only possible to grasp the Spirit on its own when one is free from preconceptions. This means that any auxiliary concept, i.e., force, energy, or the like, that still wants to connect itself to earthly standards distracts us from the actual essence of the Spirit. Steiner repeatedly draws attention to this. The suprasensory world, humans want to perceive forms, if not in coarse matter, then at least forms that appears to them in a kind of veil of light. They believe that they must hear sounds similar to those of the physical world. Now, this should not really need to be said, because the beings of sensible worlds are, after all, above all that is sensory. They do not present themselves in their true form, and sensory characteristics presuppose the eye, the ear, the sensory organs in general. In the higher worlds, however, perception does not take place with the sensory organs, but rather the soul organs. And the misunderstanding that so often arises is that what the higher soul forces depicts and what one is able to describe in words is sensoralized, whereby it is taken for the being and essence of the thing. That is not the being or essence of the thing, but rather through the essence of being of the thing must first be intuited and more beheld. One is dealing with creators, with willers, feelers, and thinkers, to which the concept beings is applied. Light consists of creative beings, both in terms of their senses or material aspects and their form. In the speech of Rudolf Steiner's translation of Genesis, quoted at the beginning, upper and lower beings. Light is weaving being. The earthly experience of light is thus an authoric testimony to the spirit beings bearing the world inner space in and with our consciousness. In the illumination of our consciousness, we participate spiritually and soulfully in the world inner space born by spirit beings. Light is thus a far more comprehensive world of beings than the conceptions of a spotlight-like outpouring of light or quantum-like emanations of a materialistically conceived matter. In view of sensory, soul, and spiritual experiences of light, it's important to lift the presence and activity of light or world interspace beings into our exponential awareness in order to bring forth a concrete and being-filled experience of light, and therefore begin to do justice to the being of light, to experience it according to its own nature. On April 8, 1911, at the Philosophers Congress in Bulgaria, Steiner explained that the eye should not be perceived as within the bodily organization, but rather that the eye is in the lawfulness of the things themselves, and that we ought to see the bodily organization as something like a mirror that reflects through its organic activity that lies outside the body in the transcendent or the true world being. Exactly 12 years later, on April 8, 1923, Steiner gave lectures in Dornach on the mystery of the cycle of the year. There he describes how the people of ancient times tried to draw the divine self into their midst for a few moments through song and dance. Back then, there was a verse for midsummer, receive the light. The light was used to describe the spiritual wisdom that within which one's own human eye shone. In this respect, light is a witness to the presence of the spiritual world, of the world interspace in earthly existence or in the seeing of human beings. Light is the seeing of the gods or God in our seeing. This is the content of what permeates our soul when we experience light, and for which we must awaken. Aurelius Augustinus wrote that God sees created things differently than humans do. That is why we see the things you have made, because they are there because you see them. Well, I think that said a whole bunch of stuff about light and consciousness, truly. And really this etheric and astral kind of thing, and really that it is our inner world that is really projected out, and that some things just don't come into matter, really. Just even having wisdom and knowledge, because really everything is energy. And so, we can pick up even on people's thoughts and things like that. And so we do end up knowing energetically. There is always an energetic exchange. So when people aren't doing what's right, we energetically can pick up on it, because their energy, their thoughts of things that they're doing, and all these different things. So it's just very interesting, but really coming to even seeing the creation and the world in that totality of consciousness of everything, and really looking at everything from those eyes of spirit. And that's truly where I've come up to, and being like that quantum observer of it, to just experience it as the human experience. So I do take it of those light energies of being grateful for it, and truly standing in like the love of the experience of it as well. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at one video that I do have.
During these times, a lot of people are going to look at the Epstein files and say that that is the problem. The people who committed these crimes is the problem. But that's what they want you to think. They want you to get upset at Trump, upset at Epstein, at Elon Musk and these people. That's what they want you to do. They want you to go into the anger and being so upset and we need to do something about this. But they're not the true problem. It doesn't make what they did okay at all. But it's what consciousness is infiltrating them to act in the way that they do. These people are really Muppets. They are controlled by a consciousness that is not of light, that is of darkness. It feeds off of fear. It feeds off of these satanic rituals. And that consciousness infiltrates into these beings that have acted in the way that they do. And so this consciousness is a consciousness that we can't see with our physical eyes. It is not a person that you will ever meet. It is a consciousness that has been developed from false light, a consciousness that has been developed to be the opposite of light. Because within our reality, there is duality. And so this consciousness feeds off of not love, it feeds off of fear. And as this consciousness grows and grows, well, the crimes have to get more and more horrendous. The things that this consciousness does has to get worse and worse because that's how it feeds. And so what we have to see is that the true problem is this consciousness. And how do we overcome that consciousness? Well, we raise our own consciousness. We raise our light. We become aware to this. And when something like this happens, no matter how hard it is, we don't get worked up about it. We don't riot and scream because that's what that consciousness wants. It feeds off of that. It's extremely manipulative. And so our job during this time is to recognize what's happening, is to see it happening around us and to not let it infiltrate us. Instead, we say that is not what we choose. And instead, we raise our consciousness. We raise our light. We see our power and our divinity within. We walk fully with God. And through the expansion of our light, the increase in power of our light, that consciousness can no longer survive here. It is a consciousness that has run earth, that has infiltrated into everything. And it's up to us now to not allow that consciousness to continue to run this planet. And instead, we raise our light, we raise our awareness, and we become a light so bright that it will infiltrate into everything because light always wins. Light always survives. It will always work in this way. So this is a calling forward for us because on an even deeper level, God is both the light and the darkness. And so when this darkness is shining so bright, it's up to us as the beings of light to shine our light brighter because that's what God truly wants of us.
Well, I thought that he gave a very good message about, some of the things going on that, we want to focus that, this is the problem. These people are the problem. And it is just a low frequency that gets picked up by people that when you're in that darkness, you just pick up these things to do, really. And you end up you kind of doing some things because you're in that darkness and being in the consciousness of darkness. And it is truly based on fear and not love. And it does have to just elevate. And that's what is going on is elevated, elevated, elevated. But it is up to us to raise our own consciousness and raise it up to the light, to not consent to those things and what is going on. It's truly an old script that is playing out because some of it has to do with our own consciousness, our own thinking, our own being in fear and these things. We're the ones who create all of it collectively on a collective basis. And when you think, these things are going on, they have a way of playing out. and it's just a consciousness. We have the light and the dark within us, and we have the power to raise up to that consciousness of light, and that is what I have done, and I just don't give it any of my attention. It's an old script that is going to play out, and as more and more raise up their consciousness, it's going to balance those scales out. And so it's really Babylon, anyways. Other people who are living out whatever they're living out, and that's the truth of the matter. And so we have the power with our God-given rights to raise up our energies, our frequencies into that light, and focus on us, focus on unity and peace, and create that kind of world within us. And as we do that, it will tip the scales. But everything is a contrast as well, that light and that dark, because it's all within us. And so we're going to have people that have limiting beliefs or have these fears or have judgmental issues. And it's just a reflection of what is it that we need to work on. You got people complaining about life, and then, well, sometimes for me even is about taking my power back and just like, whatever your complaint is lies with you. It has nothing to do with me. And so sometimes it's, letting others just take that ownership and responsibility of their own energies as well. So, but choosing that I'm happy with what's going on here and I'm experiencing this, and I'm not going to let your energy affect mine. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple of pictures. You were born to light up this world. It's up to you to choose your colors. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, in order to avoid facing their own soul. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Yep, you got to go through some pain to be conscious of that darkness that's within. Each one of us have it. And, to face that, to face our own darkness, to elevate and change it into light. So we're going to go ahead and ask a few questions here. What is light consciousness? A metaphor for the fundamental self-evident awareness that illuminates human experience, allowing for thought, perception, and self-knowledge. What are the 7 levels of existence? Body, breath, mind, intellect, memory, ego, and self. Which mind is more powerful? Conscious mind. What are the 7 levels of consciousness? 1. Survival. 2. Relationship. 3. Self-esteem. 4. Transformation. 5. Internal cohesion. 6. Making a difference. 7. Service. What are the types of minds? The disciplined mind, the synthesizing mind, the creating mind, the respectful mind, and the etherical mind. What is the 5D consciousness reality? We operate from a place of unconditional love, unity, and higher purpose. So, truly, my conclusion is that it is us. We are the light. We are the dark. And it's up to us to take ownership and responsibility over our own energy, our own thoughts, our own emotions, our own words that we are speaking of, what we're giving our attention and our focus and our energy to, those low vibrational negative energies or the energy of light. loving life, everything's for us, having gratitude. We truly are the ones who control this thing. And when we think the world is against us, we get a world that's against us. When we think that the world is for us, we will get a world that's for us. That everything is within and it's pushed out. And so consciousness of light is within everyone. And I came here to help balance that scale out, because when it's tipping too much into the darkness, where you have very few people that are being in the light, and you got false lights that are come in that, oh, if you do this and that, you're saved, and you're not living in the darkness, but truly being in fear is being in darkness. Complaining about life is being in darkness. Having lack mentality is being in darkness. The light energies is abundance, is love, is gratitude, is fulfillment. And it's not about just saying, oh, thank you for, that I have this today, but embodying those energies as well. Because when you embody the negative energies, you embody them. You can't get out of yourself of having a lack mentality, complaining about this or that, being in fear of different things, even living in fear of, speaking up for yourself. What are other people going to think of me? Being concerned about those kinds of things as well. What are they going to do to me? But we have a God-given right to protect ourselves as well. And when we raise up our frequency and go into those light energies, what happens is that even if people in those negative energies are directing energy at you, you have the power to protect yourself, and that those energies are not going to disturb you. We have that power to do such a thing. We just have to become aware of it. And so that really nothing can hurt us unless we are choosing to within the spirit. And so we choose it. And we have to come to understand that, being consciously aware of what are my thoughts going to. And as I've come up more and more and more, just seeing that I'm having these negative thoughts about this or that I had to get control over. I had to get power over it. And so we all have the power within us to truly come up and be the light worker and to help tip that scale to where maybe we can be in 75% of people living in their life, living in purpose, even to better humanity. And we all have it within us to raise up and have that consciousness of light. And that means not consenting or participating into that darkness that the world has had us trapped into. And that's truly about, taking our power back, and we get the choice. It's free will. We choose. We can live in the drama and the chaos and the, oh my God, what is this going on, and what are they doing to us? Or we can take our power back and know that we're the ones who create it all. We can be reacting to all of it, or we can respond to it. And maybe that response is just not to feed it, not to give it our energy, our attention, and help create the world and the life that is for humanity, for us. And so we all have the power, we all have the choice within us. It is free will. Free will, you got the light and the dark. We have the free will of consciously living in darkness or living in light. I choose the consciousness of light. So take what you can, learn, grow, heal, expand yourself, raise up your own consciousness of light. And if you are already on that path and doing it, well, great. We are here to create that unity. We are here to create that peace, embodying unconditional love, and to change this game into our favor. And that's what we're here for, is to change those codings, the code, and to take it over. Because we have the power within us to create the world that we want instead of being manipulated to create somebody else's hell to live in. And so I'm grateful for raising up my consciousness, raising up my frequency, and coming to embody that gratitude and embodying peace and unity and unconditional love, truly learning what it is that I came here to learn and serving my purpose. I'm grateful for anyone who is listening to me to learn and grow and expand themselves and to raise up their consciousness to be in that consciousness of light, the true light of the divine, to be connected with the divine mind. And so if you want any help with healing, if you want any help with taking your power back and, letting that stuff go, letting go of the past, letting go of those energies and those frequencies, you can reach out to me. My links and my email will be left in my bio. And so enjoy your day, enjoy your life. It is yours. Take ownership over it. Take your power back over it and enjoy your life. Experience it. And some days, they're going to be like that, but experience it and enjoy the good times and the bad times. Sometimes we got to go through those bad times because we have some room to grow. And so, but coming up to being that light worker, that consciousness of light. So we're going to go ahead and close with playing this song called Wake Me Up. It's a very fitting one for me. It talks about waking up when you're a little bit older and experiencing this world and this life so that you can truly come up to see what it truly is about. So having that inner truth. So love you.
Most people don't realize this, but we're not all living in the same reality. We're all walking this earth, but we're living in different dimensions. When you're in the lower dimensions, you believe in a God outside of you. You say things like, "Thank you, Jesus," and "Thank you, God up there." And that's okay, because that's the level you're at. It's part of the journey. But when you go through a Kundalini awakening, when your spirit truly begins to rise, something shifts. You don't just believe in Christ, you become aware of the Christ within you. You stop thanking something outside of you, and you begin to awaken to the power that was always inside you. Christ consciousness isn't about religion. It's a frequency, a higher awareness. It's when you realize God lives in you. You see, people argue because they live in different dimensions, and they don't understand each other. Some still live in the 3D where everything is fear, control, separation. You're over here trying to speak light, truth, oneness, and they look at you like you're crazy. That's because you're not speaking the same language of consciousness. When you awaken, you rise. You begin to see the world through God's eyes, not man's. And that's why we say not everyone will get you. Not everyone is supposed to, because not everyone has risen yet. But your job is not to prove it, your job is to live it. Let your vibration speak louder than your voice. Thank you for following us at Awakening the Empaths, where truth is spoken without fear.
Feeling my way through darkness, guided by a beating heart. I can't tell where the journey will end, but I know where to start. They tell me I'm too young to understand. They say I'm caught up in a dream. Well, life will pass me by if I don't open up my eyes. Well, that's fine by me. So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. Oh, this time I was finding myself, and I didn't know I was lost. I tried carrying the weight of the world, but I only have two hands. Hope I get the chance to travel the world. I don't have any plans. Wish that I could stay forever this young, not afraid to close my eyes. Life's a game made for everyone, and love is the prize. So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. Oh, this time I was finding myself, and I didn't know I was lost. So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. Oh, this time I was finding myself, and I didn't know I was lost. I didn't know I was lost. So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser, when I'm older. Oh, this time I was finding myself, and I didn't know I was lost. I didn't know I was lost. I didn't know I was lost.
You ain't got a chance. Trying to go to war with the champ. Trying to go back, but you can't. Now it's only one king, I'm the man. Anybody wanna step to the plate? Better go and get one thing straight. I don't freeze and I won't hesitate. Matter of fact, y'all been running in place, can't run from your fate. Who's gonna stop me? 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 Yeah, who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me? So electrical, charged up, shocking every second like a billion volts. Now we hyperactive, you don't want no static. I was born for battle, finger on the pulse. Y'all paper plastic, well I go Jurassic. So far from average, running with the raptors like a slay Goliath, steady moving silence. So in other words, I am the boss. Who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me? I am the boss. Who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me? Yeah, who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me? I just look at the world, such a sight to behold. Most of the stories will never get told. Been on my own for so long, I don't know what else to do, pray I don't lose my soul. Walking through fire till I'm numb to the coast. Coming for everything, diamonds and gold. Nothing to lose, all in my control. And I'm about to go savage, so don't say I won't. And I'm destined for greatness. Ain't no fabrication, ain't no time for waiting. Super fundamental, I can see them hating. Ain't a scrimmage, steady winning. I ain't quitting from the start to finish. Been in motion, this is physics. Never slowing, never getting with it. I ain't quitting from the start to finish. And I gotta wonder, really fine slipping in. Who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me?